How's it going, everyone? I hope you're having a great day, and if you're not, as always, I hope you're making something out of it. So, today, talking about freedom, kind of a deeper topic. I'm going to get right into it. So, first off, freedom in our culture is just, there's so many different definitions for it, and I think most of them are either incomplete or blatantly false, okay? And so I'm going to give you the definitions that I see, perpetrated to the public, and then I'm going to give you my definition, which I believe to be correct. So let's get right into it. Okay, but before we get into this, it's important to differentiate. So freedom as a country is different than freedom when it pertains to a person, okay? So, freedom in our country, when we say that we are a free country, it means that we don't answer, we don't belong to any other country, right? We have basically become our own autonomous state. We belong to ourselves, we rule ourselves. And that's, when it comes to, America, that's how we see freedom. But I'm going to be talking about personal freedom here, okay, and how it pertains to the human being and not necessarily as a nation as a whole. So let's get right into it. So the definition of freedom that I most commonly see given to the public out there is, give this my best shot, freedom is the ability to give in to your desires, or have the choice to give in to your desires, whenever you will, whenever you want to, okay? That is the definition that I see widely propagated to most people in society. And I think that's very, very, not only dangerous, but it leads to unhappiness for people, because that's not the correct definition of freedom, in my opinion. Freedom in a person, from a human being's perspective, freedom for yourself, it can't be being enslaved to something else. And in that first definition, you are enslaved to something. That something is your passions. All right, you're enslaved to your passions because just being able to do whatever you want, that's not freedom. All right, because that just basically is saying, whenever I want to do something, I should be able to do it. Whenever, however, whatever, But that's not freedom, because it infers that you are giving into passions which you experience all the time. Like human beings experience passions, we experience emotions, whims. We experience those things. It does not mean that freedom is just being able to give into those whenever you want, okay? I think the truest sense of freedom, from where I stand, is actually being free from your own passions. Being able to separate, when you look at what your animal nature is trying to tell you to do, all right? And to be able to look at those things and order them in a fashion that is always reaching for the greater good of the situation, right? So, true freedom, in my opinion, is the ability to master your passions, to master your emotions, to master yourself, so that, at the end of the day, you have complete control of yourself. Otherwise, if you're just the guy that goes and he does whatever he wants, all right? First off, I think it's a recipe for unhappiness. I don't think it's going to make you a happier person. But freedom is being able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I control you, right? Which is also just the same thing as saying, I control myself. And if you can't control yourself, well, then you actually are, you're enslaved to something, and that something is your desires. And you can't break apart the things which are more important in life and separate those from what your animal nature is trying to tell you to do, right? And I think the thing that separates humans from animals, by the way, just so I throw this out there, is, we're rational animals. We're the only rational animals to exist on this earth, right? We have the ability to choose right from wrong, and we're not just solely driven by our instincts. Right? We have our instincts. We have these desires that come about from being human, yes. but we also have the ability to say no to those things, whereas animals do not, which is, being a rational animal, it's like the coolest thing ever, okay? But it's also difficult because, you don't want to be a slave to yourself. And people think, our culture says that that's impossible. You can't, like you're just doing what you're supposed to because you're an animal. Well, no, we're the smartest animal to exist out there. We are the only animal that has, rationality. Okay, we can choose right from wrong. And so freedom for us is not simply giving in to, being allowed to give in to all the whims and passions and desires we have. It is actually the ability to curtail those desires, those whims, and to actually control ourselves. That's freedom. Anyways, that's all I've got to say on that. Those are just my ideas on what freedom is. If you disagree with me, please tell me in the comments. I would love to hear from you and converse and share ideas. That's a great thing to do. So anyways, thanks for watching Man in the Making. I hope you have a great day. And please subscribe, if you haven't already. I'd appreciate it. I'll see you next time.